Hello student. Today we are going to see how voltage build-up process occur in the shunt generator. Okay, so basically in generator we have one process in which the voltage is building up and develop the final, or we can say that the rated voltage which is required to be fed to the supply system further. Okay, so this process how this voltage is rated voltage is developed. So first of all, this voltage is in this range. You can see that this is a one demo model of generator where we have a field and also some meters to measure the currents and voltage. Okay, so before connecting load to a shunt generator, it is allowed to build up its voltage. Okay, so we cannot directly connect the load to the generator. We have to give some time to the generator so that it can build up its voltage to a certain rated voltage. Okay, the voltage build up in a self excited DC generator depends on the presence of a residual flux in the field poles. Okay, so we already discussed what is a residual flux. Okay, in residual flux, this residual flux helps the voltage building process during the initialization. Okay, so initially, due to the residual magnetism in the field poles, small EMF is produced. This EMF circulates the small current in the field circuit, and which in turn produce the additional flux to the reinforce the original flux. Okay, so this process continues and generate buildups a normal voltage. Okay, like this. Okay, here you can see that we have a two axis. On one axis we have a volts, and on the other axis we have a field current. Okay, so you can see that this portion of the O2A is a residual voltage, or we can say that the voltage EMF due to the residual flux. Okay, now this residual flux helps the generator to excite itself at the starting. Okay, and now due to circulate the current, some another flux is produced. This flux generates the EMF. Okay, and this EMF is added in the voltage. Further current is flow, further flux is generated, and further voltage is built up. Okay, so you can see here it is one type of ladder process where EMF is increasing, and with the EMF increase we also notice the changes in the field current. Okay, and at the one time, at the final, at one moment, the terminal voltage become the final voltage, and now we can connect the load to the generator. Okay, now there are some more topics like what is a critical resistance and speed. Okay, critical resistance and critical speed. So first of all, what is a critical field resistance? The maximum voltage which DC generator can generate is given by the point of interaction between the OCC, which is a open circuit characteristics, and the field resistance line OP. Okay, the point D, you can see here what is the point D. This is a OCC, and this is SRQP, all are the resistance line. Okay, so the line which intersect at the point D is the maximum, means beyond this line we cannot reduce our resistance. Okay, so the in the field circuit as resistance is increased, the final voltage decreases as a point of interaction shift toward the left side. Okay, the field circuit resistance OR, which is a tangential to the OCC, is called the critical field resistance. Okay, in the if the field circuit resistance is more than the critical value, the generator will fail to excite and no voltage will be induced. Okay, the reason being no point of interaction is possible in this case. Okay, the field resistance line, so we have to have maintained this field resistance OP. Otherwise, if the line shift towards the downward, uh, in that condition voltage buildup process will fail. Okay, so we have to maintain this critical resistance, field resistance, in order to successfully build up the voltage. Another one is a critical speed. So there are three speed, N1, N2 and Nc, and beyond the Nc our voltage buildup process is also getting failed. So suppose a shunt generator has a buildup of voltage at a certain speed N1. Now if the speed of the prime mover is reduced without changing RF, the generated voltage will be less because the OCC at the lower speed will come down. Okay, so if the speed is further reduced to a certain critical speed Ns, the field resistance line will become a tangential to the OCC at the Nc. For a speed below critical speed Nc, no generated voltage buildup is possible in the shunt generator. Okay, so here in the figure you can clearly see that what is the critical speed. Now the condition for the voltage buildup process, first condition is that there must be some residual magnetism. Okay, otherwise field voltage buildup process will be failed. Total field circuit resistance must be less than the critical field resistance. So we have to ensure that this field circuit resistance should be lower than the critical field resistance. Then field winding connection should be such that the residual flux is strengthened by the field current in the coil. Okay, if due to this no voltage is being built up and reverse the field terminal connection. Okay, the generator should be rotated at the certain critical speed, otherwise voltage buildup process will be failed. Okay, now moving towards the losses in the DC machine. What kind of losses occur in the DC machine? So there are four type of losses. First is a copper losses, second one is a magnetic or iron losses, third one is a mechanical losses, and last one is a stereo load losses. Okay, so we all know that whenever the current flow through the conductor, it generate heat. Okay, and this heat, generation of heat is proportional to the resistance of that material. Okay, so the loss in the form of heat is also known as copper loss. Okay, so this loss is depend on the resistance of that material. So there are four places where we observe the copper losses. First is armature copper losses, and in the armature we all know that the armature is made up by the copper winding. So we in the copper winding, if current is low, then I square, Ia square and Ra loss will be there. Okay, second one is the shunt field loss. So shunt field is also made up from the copper winding, so we also observe the copper loss at there. Then if our motor contains a series winding, then also in series winding we also observe the copper loss. And last one is a copper loss in the interpole. If we introduce any interpole for avoiding the flux linkage or anything, so in that condition we also observe the copper loss at there. Okay, then we have also brush contact loss. Okay, then second one is a magnetic losses. Okay, so these losses are iron loss or a core losses, and this losses is depend on the magnetize and demagnetize the material. Okay, so we all know that our flux is AC. Okay, so we frequently magnetize the pole and demagnetize the pole. Okay, and due to this hysteresis loss and eddy current loss will come in picture. Okay, so what is a hysteresis loss? Hysteresis loss can be measured by this formula: pH is equal to eta Bmax raised to 1.6 F into V. Okay, where Bmax is a maximum flux density, V is a volume of the armature core, F is the frequency, and eta is a hysteresis coefficient. So these losses can be reduced by using core material of silicon steel, because it has a low hysteresis coefficient, so overall our loss will be reduced. So here you can see that what the coefficient value of different materials. And second one is the eddy current loss. So when the armature core rotates in the magnetic field of poles, it also cuts the magnetic flux, and due to this, hence EMF is induced in the body of core according to law of electromagnetic induction. This EMF sets up current in the body of the armature core, and it is known as eddy current loss. Okay, so power loss is also occur in the form of eddy current loss, and equation of eddy current loss: PE is equal to K Bmax square F square T square and V, where T is a thickness, V is a volume, F is a frequency, and Bmax is a maximum flux density. Here we have a moving parts also, so we also observe some mechanical losses which is occur at the bearing, brushes, and also we have a windage and air friction losses. Then last one is a steady load loss. So there are certain types of losses which cannot be easily determined, and they appear when the machine is loaded. Okay, so these losses is occurred due to the armature reactions and due to eddy currents in the conductor and all. Okay, so basically what kind of losses are there? It is a total, or we can say that the whole picture of the losses, how many types of losses are there. Copper, iron, mechanical, and steady load loss. Copper is occur in two parts, armature and field. Iron losses, or we can say that the core losses is occurring in the form of hysteresis and eddy current loss. Mechanical losses are there, which is responsible due to the friction and windage. Okay. Now which losses are variable and which are the constant? It means that which losses increase due to the load. If we increase the load, then these variable losses are increased, and constant losses remains the same irrespective of the loading. Okay, so this copper losses is the variable loss, and other type of losses are all the constant loss. Okay, so here you can see that the armature CU loss, series CU loss, all the CU loss and brush contact losses are the variable, and all the other are the constant losses. So this is the figure of power stages, where we have input the mechanical power by using the prime mover. From this input power, first subtractor portion is the iron plus mechanical losses. Okay, because the prime mover and the generator is connected by means of any shaft or anything, so there are iron or mechanical losses are there. Then this power is developed in the armature in the form of EGIA, and from this power copper losses are getting subtracted, and we get the net electrical output power. Okay, so here we have a two type of efficiency. We have a three type of efficiency. First is the mechanical efficiency. Efficiency is basically output by input. So in case of mechanical efficiency, output is a mechanical power, a power developed, and divided by input is a mechanical power. Okay, so EGIA divided by the mechanical power input. Electrical efficiency is the electrical output and divided by the electrical power developed, and overall, or we can say the commercial efficiency is the multiplication of these two efficiency, mechanical and electrical efficiency. Okay, so up to now, if you have any kind of doubt, then you can comment it down, and also make sure that you follow all the videos so that you learn all the chapters. Okay, because if you do not learn regularly, then at the time of exam you will get frustrated that how you can do all the things in a 1 or 2 days. Okay, so please make sure that you regularly follow all the videos. Okay, comment it down if you have any question. Thank you.